Time for another board game review, and this time we have the game 0 to 100. This was sent to me by Scorpion Masque and is designed by Antonin Bocara with illustrations by Thibault Corot. This is a general knowledge game for the generally unknowledgeable. Let me show you how to play.
So in 0 to 100, you can play this as on teams if you'd like. There are up to 3 teams. You can also do a 2-player game with 2 teams, but each team gets 3 of these power cards, as well as 6 question cards. Now these question cards say things like, how many days did it take American President James Garfield to die after being shot? Or how many bones are there in a human adult's 2 hands? How old was John Arbuckle, Garfield's owner, in 1987? And you do not look at the back of these, because the whole point of this game is you're trying to get as close as you can to a number without knowing the answers. So in the first round, the target number is 50. So you'll discuss with your team which of your questions would be the closest number to that. Whatever you pick, let's say just pick this one for example, you would slide it forward. Let's say another team slid this one forward, the average percentage of sugar and maple syrup, and another team slipped forward, how many words are there for blue in ancient Greek? I'm just picking these at random. I'm not saying these are good answers. And then each team will then read their question out loud and reveal the answer. How many days did it take President Garfield to die? 79. The average percentage of sugar and maple syrup? 67. How many words are there for blue in ancient Greek? 0. That's tricky. So in this case, this team is the closest. So what happens is the team whose answer is the furthest away, in that case it would be this team, they place their question card in the center of the table. This is now the new target. So now the new target is 0. Then they take a new question from the deck and place it in front of themselves. And now they have another card that they couldn't get rid of. The other teams, these cards get discarded for the rest of the game. Now you win the game as soon as you have only one question card in front of you. So you're trying to just not be the furthest each time. But what's hard is that each time you get rid of a question, you have less choices to work with. If more than one team achieves the one card left in the same round, each tied team says out loud what they think is the answer to the remaining card. Whoever was closest to their answer wins. If they're still tied, they can share the victory. Now, each team I mentioned has these power cards that you can use once per game. So here's one that's plus 50 or minus 50. So very simply, if this team had added the plus 50 to it, they would have been spot on the answer actually. But you have to use it obviously before the answer is revealed. But ta-da, that means I actually have my answer as 50, but then this card is used up. Another one is just a plus 20, minus 20 to adjust your total. And then there is also the spot on card. What the spot on card does is if you think your answer is at most 5 away from the target number, you can play this card with it. If you're right, you get to discard one of your other cards as an extra. With this spot on card, you could actually find yourself with 0 cards on the table, which gives you a supreme victory if you manage to do that. But that's pretty much the game. You're just putting down questions that you think are close to the answer, and see whoever's the furthest gets doesn't get to discard a card. So just some examples of questions. I won't show you the answers, but how many keys does a modern piano have? How many times does a person fart on average per day? How many films did Alfred Hitchcock make? These are just some examples of the different questions that can be in the game. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
So here's another entry into the genre of trivia games that anyone can play, which honestly, I do prefer over regular trivia games. The problem with regular trivia games is if even one person is just a trivia master, there's absolutely no chance of stopping them. These general focused trivia games are nice because they kind of level the playing field for everybody, regardless of experience level. Instead of asking for precise answers, you're looking at something going, I think it's about this, which kind of makes it fair. The concept is simple and entertaining enough, but once you have less and less cards on your team, it does get harder, which is the point, I guess, to get close to the right answer. But frankly, it feels a little unfair because you just have less choices. Yes, the power cards can help a little bit with that, but there's so few of them that either A, I wish there were a lot more of them, Or B, I feel like a system where you can maybe always choose how much you add or deduct would honestly be better. Maybe use chips or a little marker board or something. That would make the game more interesting instead of I've got these 3 I can use once per game. Otherwise, some rounds might just be out of your hands because all the cards you have left, you're like, these are all terrible choices for the number that I happen to be targeting. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the fact that you just kind of have less choices as you go with not that much control. But honestly, it is a minor quibble overall. I think it's a nice little trivia game. I don't think it's extraordinary, but the concept is decent fun. There's a good variety of questions, and it doesn't overstay its welcome, so it's pretty fun.